for the thrill of it, thrill of it. Say that it's love, but to me it's looking counterfeit.
Okay, now we're gonna do our cross lace. So what you'll need is just one piece of your cross lace string. And what you're gonna do for our two sides is cut this in half. So you'll take this, make it even and cut in half with your scissors. What I like to do is burn them off and tie them off right now so I don't forget. What you'll do is burn each side so they don't fray. Tie that same double knot you did for your sidewall and top string at the end of both of these. Now I like to tie my knots on the non-aglet side so I have the aglet side to do my cross lace. So I'm going to tie a double knot at the end of both of these. So there's one. And I'll put that one away for our second half. Here's the second one. Double knot, remember it's the loop. Around twice, pulling. So that the knot will lay on top of itself. There you go. Now I'm going to take this piece of cross lace and do the left-hand side. So starting on your left-hand side in that same hole that you did your top string, you're gonna do a single wrap with this cross lace. Might be a little tricky, so you might have to like nudge this knot up just a little bit to give some space to poke through. But you're gonna poke it through that top hole, just like that, and pull through. Do a single wrap, so you're going to do that one more time, poke it through, pull. There you go. Now that you're here, you're going to go front to back through the second hole on the inside left-hand side of your head. So front to back, pull that cross lace through. Now that you're here, you're going to go down this first column of the armor mesh, including the paracord. So what you're going to do is your first knot is going to be a 4 count. So count down 4 on your right-hand side of this paracord, because remember, we want to include it. So right-hand side, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles down, and go in to this armor mesh piece. So go down, pull through, and then once you go down, come up this loop. So come up, it's hard to describe, come up the top side of that knot, and then pull and put him behind the knot and pull down. So you see how that kind of forms an interlock? You go in the mesh, and then you're going to come out the top side and pull down over that string, forming this interlock. Then once you're here, remember this is an interlock, we're going to use the rest of the head. So keep this pattern in mind. Once you're here, now your string, you're going to go down in this gap so that you're underneath. Once you're underneath, you're going to go up the rectangle right underneath of the one that you just used. So technically this is the 5th one down. You're going to go up that same rectangle, pulling through. But now see how I have this loop of slack? When you pull up, just similar to these knots up here, but it's sideways. So now that you've pulled up, pull through, put your string through that hole, and then pull, forming this knot. I like to pull up and then down again. But you're basically doing the same top knot sideways, essentially. So that'll cause or form that knot on your 4 skip down, for your first armor mesh interlock. Now you're going to zigzag. So now that we did an interlock on the mesh, now we're going to do an interlock on the sidewall. So this interlock is simple. You're just going to go over this sidewall string and then pull through and up, similar to like we did on that side. So see, and then down. There's that interlock again. Just a simple interlock. And you can do it a little bit down from that first knot because you want them to zigzag and sit in between one another. So now that you've done that, let's go back to the mesh. After this knot, you're going to count 3 rectangles down. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3 down and do that same knot that you did right here on these 2 squares. So go down and through, pulling up and then back down. There's the interlock for the first part. Now put your string through that gap to bring you to the backhand side so that you're able to now go up that rectangle right underneath, pull through. Now that you're here, go into that loop and pull. Make that tight. There's your first 2 armor mesh interlocks on the mesh. Now that you've done those, we're going to do these regular interlocks all the way down. So similar to how we just did it, now you're going to do an interlock on the sidewall. So go over the sidewall and back up, forming that interlock. Still making it zigzag. We're going to do it just a little bit more down. And then now for the rest of the armor mesh piece, it's a 3 skip. So go 1, 2, 3 down, go into that armor mesh rectangle piece and do the interlock. So remember, down and up, pulling down. There's that. Each sidewall section, so here's 1 section, here's 2, here's 3, and here's 4. Each section gets 2 interlocks, just like this one. So now that we have 2 done in that section, we're going to move down to this section. So we'll go over the sidewall that's in between the head and the string and still do that same interlock. Pull the string a little bit higher so that it sits like that evenly. Then same deal, you go 1, 2, 3 down. Do another one of these interlocks. Pull through, but see how when I'm pulling it's up towards the left-hand side, or the top side, I should say. Now that you're here, do another interlock on the side. Pull through. You can leave just a little bit of tension and a little bit of slack on your cross lace. Don't make it too tight, but don't do it too loose. You can always go back and fix later. Now that you're here, do your 3 more down. 1, 2, 3. And then you're just going to repeat these steps. Here we go, second or third interlock section. Repeat these steps all the way down the head until you've reached the bottom. So I'm just going to keep going. 3. With an interlock every other on the outside. And now I'm in this last sidewall section. Do my 2 interlocks. Okay, once you get to here, you've done all of your interlocks on the mesh. You've done 2 on each section. Once you've done your last 2 on this sidewall, you're going to still do your 3 count, 1, 2, 3. Include the paracord, remember. Do that interlock, but now you're going to exit through this last rectangular hole on that side. So you're going to go, put the string in, you're going to go inside to out through that rectangle. Now you're here. This is a double wrap. So similar to our single wrap at the top, you're just going to wrap it around twice now. So double wrap, pulling a little bit of that tension. Double wrap. So there you go, double wrap on the outside. And do a double knot here. So this is that same knot you do for your top string, your sidewall, wrap around twice, remember, and then let that knot sit, just like that. Double knot to finish you off. Now that's your left side cross lace. We're going to repeat these same steps on your right hand side. Same pattern. So take your cross lace string, your second piece, just like on our left, we're going to do a single wrap in that same top hole as your top string. So you're going to pop this through. You might have to hold the knot up to get it through. Pop it through, pull. Now do that again to form your single wrap. Pop through and pull through. There's that. Now that you're in the front of the head, you're going to go front to back through the second circular hole. So right next to your sidewall. Pull through. And then now we're going to do these top knots just like we did on the left. Count 4 down on this alleyway right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 into that fourth rectangle. Remember, we're going to pull through and up. I like to go behind the knot. So through and up, and then once we pull down, that'll make that interlock. There's the first half. Now that you're underneath, go up that very next rectangle. Right underneath of it, pull, 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 pull. Then go through that loop you left yourself. Pulling through. Forming that interlock. Pull. There's the first one. Now we're going to go, since we did mesh, we'll do sidewall. Regular interlock on the sidewall. Right hand side. Pull up. Right in the middle. Go 3 down. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do the same knot on this opposite side. So there's your first half with the interlock. Through and up. Now you're going to go back down and front to back up that rectangle right underneath. Pulling through that loop that we left. There's our second interlock. It's good to be able to check yourself, so you can always look to the left-hand side and see that you're even, same rows on your right-hand side. Now that we did our mesh, we're going to do our sidewall interlock. So go back over and zigzag here. Do a sidewall interlock. Pull, giving it some tension. 3 down. Regular interlock. There's that. Now we're going to go down to our second sidewall section, since the first one already has 2. And pull. Do your regular sidewall interlock. Push that all the way up to the top so it's even. Keep going down. 1, 2, 3. Interlock here. Now we're going to go down to the sidewall and repeat our pattern all the way down. 1, 2, 3. Sidewall. All right, and then now, once we're in that last section, remember we do 2 on the outside. There's the second interlock. We'll still do our interlock on the mesh, pulling through regularly, but instead now we'll exit out this bottom rectangular hole with our double wrap, just like the left-hand side. So exit inside out, double wrap. So we'll wrap it around twice. There's one. Still holding the tension. Here's our second wrap. Now that we're here, tie that double knot. Remember, 2 loops around the string. There's 1, there's 2. Still holding the tension, pull the string, forming that double knot where it lays over itself. And there's your crosslace.
Yeah, we are always running for the thrill of it, always pushing up the hill, searching for the